Why do most cultures position the soul as the heart rather than the brain? Because when emotions fluctuate, the focus of attention is on the acceleration of the heartbeat. All laws are created by the heart, and all things are transformed by the heart. Whatever you believe, you will see and perceive. The self not only exists in the heart and brain, but can also be any part of the body, even your handbag. The characteristic of consciousness that connects all things gives us the opportunity to experience the feeling and realm of unity of all things and harmony between heaven and man. Specifically, Dennett's theory provides a new explanation for the metaphor of heart. Why do most cultures position the soul in the heart rather than the brain? Because during emotional fluctuations, there is no obvious sensation in the head, and the focus of attention is on the acceleration of the heartbeat. The saying, thinking with heart, originates from this. Thinking does not involve sensory experiences of the head, but is accompanied by subtle experiences in the heart. As described in a certain novel, the protagonist feels love happening in their stomach, because every time they develop love for their lover, there is a faint feeling of bloating and pain in their stomach. The rubber hand illusion experiment is a stunning neuroscience experiment that reveals the astonishing plasticity and adaptability of the human brain. In the experiment, one of the volunteers' hands, such as their right hand, was completely covered with clothing, making it impossible for them to see. At the same time, a rubber prosthetic hand was placed in front of them, and the volunteers were asked to stare at the prosthetic hand continuously. Subsequently, the researchers used props to simultaneously touch the same part of the real hand and prosthetic hand at the same rhythm, allowing the volunteers to gradually feel that the real hand and prosthetic hand were one. After a period of time, taking away the props that touched the real hand and only touching the fake hand, the volunteers can still feel the touch. When lightly tapping the prosthetic hand with a small hammer without touching the real hand will react synchronously with the prosthetic hand. When using a hammer to forcefully smash the prosthetic hand, the volunteers reacted with shock as if their real hand was about to be hit. This phenomenon reveals the high integration ability of the brain towards multiple senses: visual, tactile, proprioceptive, synesthesia phenomenon. Through the linkage of visual and tactile stimuli, volunteers are induced to mistake their prosthetic hand for a part of their own body. When visual concentration is high, the brain triggers tactile linkage induction through visual stimulation, feeling that the little hammer is really tapping their fingers. At the same time, this also implies the fragility of self-awareness. Our bodily perception does not come directly from physical entities, but rather from virtual models constructed by the brain based on sensory inputs. When external information is highly consistent with internal expectations, the brain will not hesitate to incorporate non-self objects into its own boundaries. This astonishing adaptability not only provides possibilities for neural rehabilitation, but also raises profound questions about the reality of ourself. Interestingly, the latest research from Ryukyu University in Okinawa, Japan, has found that octopuses can develop the rubber hand illusion similar to humans, mistakenly believing that prosthetics are part of their own bodies. This breakthrough discovery proves for the first time that invertebrates have a body ownership perception ability similar to that of humans. Once the brain recognizes integration, it can break through the connections between truth and falsehood, virtuality and reality, and between individuals and others. At the same time, the brain also has adaptability. If this experiment is repeated for the second time, the level of synesthetic response in humans will begin to decline. Similarly, if you tickle yourself, you won't feel anything. But if someone tickles you, you will feel itchy. Sometimes, when you dream that your feet are pressed down by a car and it hurts a lot, you wake up and feel the same pain in the same area. Anyone who has played with VR glasses knows that walking on flat ground can make their legs tremble, because what you see in VR virtual glasses is on a skyscraper roof. For example, when we see someone's hand being squeezed hard by a door or cut, we also feel a tug of the heart and can feel the pain. Moreover, people with stronger empathy are more likely to feel the same way as others. Amputees will experience phantom limb pain. Even though they have lost that limb, such as their right leg, they will still feel it and experience severe pain in the middle of the night. This is because the brain always feels that its right leg still exists and stubbornly gives instructions to the amputated right leg, but the instructions cannot be completed and the brain does not receive feedback, resulting in pain. The rubber hand illusion experiment just now is actually a clinical treatment method for phantom limb pain, which uses mirror therapy, allowing a healthy left leg to symmetrically mirror a non-existent right leg in a mirror, to deceive the brain that the right leg is still there, gradually allowing the brain to accept it. And then there is no longer the illusion of pain. In another experiment, the researchers first had volunteers watch hot candles drip onto their fake hands, and then used ordinary water droplets onto the volunteers' real hands. However, the brain mistakenly thought it was a real hot candle, and as a result, the hands actually developed blisters. There is also an experiment where both hands are placed in two pots, one cold and one hot, for 2 minutes, and then taken out and placed in warm water. The hand previously placed in cold water will tell you that the water is hot, and the hand previously placed in hot water will tell you that the water is cold. The same water. The results told to the brain by both hands are completely opposite. This is because the brain itself does not feel pain and cannot distinguish between left and right, so it is not clear about the true heat and cold of water. So whether you are frostbitten or burnt, you will develop blisters. In fact, more than 70% of what we think we see, hear, or feel is automatically supplemented and perfected by the brain based on past experiences, memories, preferences, and tendencies. The part we truly perceive is actually very small, and the brain unconsciously, completely unconsciously, fills in a large part of the rest, making us mistakenly believe that these are all truly perceived. From the above examples, it can be seen that human consciousness has strong plasticity and can travel through space and time. As the saying goes, all phenomena are created by the heart, all things are created by the heart, and all things are transformed by the heart. Whatever you believe, you will see and perceive. In the rubber hand illusion experiment above, consciousness extended to the prosthetic hand. This is similar to how we feel scared watching horror movies in person. This is actually a type of hypnosis, where we stimulate both the right hand and prosthetic hand simultaneously and hypnotize the brain, which means that hypnosis can be used to treat physical illnesses with theoretical basis. More broadly speaking, we are hypnotized since birth, and our minds recognize that our bodies are mine, this is mine, and that is mine, so that I becomes persistent and sensitive. To be selfless is liberation, to break free from all identification, which will be a rather arduous process of cultivation. It is precisely because of the characteristic of consciousness that can connect all things that we have the opportunity to experience the feeling and realm of the unity of all things and the unity of heaven and man. See chapter 8.29, ninth level. Cosmic realm, no self, unity self, heavenly self, selfless, true self, divine self, superego 3. As long as you feel it with your heart, our consciousness can connect everything. Just like a prosthetic hand connects the body, it is a part of the body, and its pain will also be felt by the body. So we can also say that the self not only exists in the heart and brain, but can also be any part of the body, even your handbag, adjacent, even just in the same line of sight instead of adjacent, once you can achieve unity with it. I am Wu Huayu, a PhD from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a postdoctoral fellow from Peking University, and the founder of AI Philosophy. For more detailed information, please refer to the complete version of this book. In addition to this short video, you can also click on my avatar to view more long videos.